35 strangest first dates ever. According to Reddit, number 35 was running out of options and single girls in my area and ended up meeting with a girl because she said she had a talking parrot. I thought that was pretty cool and had nothing better to do and decided that a Saturday pub lunch with company was better than one alone. I might get to see a talking parrot too. So I took the hour to get to town and met at the place of her choosing. She was nice enough and the talk never got awkward, but I was spending the whole time trying to figure out how to angle her going back to hers to try and make a bird say fuck or bugger, and all without coming across as a bit rapey. Yes, I was also very childish. Why would that make you childish? Being rapey around women is something that they're always going to be, eyeing you about. So keep your guard up, dudes. I brought up the parrot to test the waters, and I could see I'd set off the rapey alarm in her head. Things got a bit monosyllabic after that, which is to say that she got very short with her answers. So I paid for her meal, and we left it there. I asked if she wanted a follow-up date in my town, and she said, "Oh, it's a bit far away, isn't it?" Yeah, bye-bye, parrot girl. The meal was nice, though. That is the first entry here. And if you're anything like me, it didn't make you feel any way leaning towards any side of the spectrum. Number 34. Once I talked to a girl on Tinder, and I hit it off with her pretty well. We made plans to meet up later in the weekend. We'll call her Sarah. The next day, though, another girl that I talked to, that we'll call Sophie, told me she'd be out at a bar close to me. She told me to come join her and bring a friend, so I brought my roommate and went to meet Sophie. As we go to the bar, I spotted Sophie sitting there with another girl whose back was turned to me. Went up, gave Sophie a quick hug as I sat down next to me, and motioned for my buddy to sit on the other side with the other girl. It was only when that I actually looked at Sophie's friend, first noticing the intense stare I received from the other table. I realized the girl was Sarah, the girl I had made plans to meet up with the following day. I could see she was equally taken aback as me, and for what felt like an eternity, sat there with the biggest deer in headlights look before the silence was broken by Sophie saying, "Hey, this is my bestie. Her name's Sarah," which led us to nervously shaking hands, exchanging names, not knowing what else to do. Already having shook hands as strangers, neither of us really knew how to proceed, not wanting to mention the elephant in the room since Sophie and my buddy had no clue what was going on. It actually did go all right in the end. My roommate and Sarah ended up talking and hitting it off. It seemed we'd reached a silent yet mutual agreement, not to mention the glowing mammoth in the room. In the end, the girls actually ended up going back to our flat with us and spending the night. I only told my roommate the reason I had looked so confused after they had left the following day. But yeah, that was such a strange date, which somehow worked out. Doesn't seem like that big a deal, man. I mean, like, this is another scenario where, like, as long as you don't allow the autism to flow through you and make the deal a bigger deal than it is, then everything will go fine. Y'all really need some, like, marijuana in your life. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody needs to calm the fuck down. Number 33. Maybe shouldn't have started so low on this list, but I wanted it to be longer. I love you. You know what I mean? Ooh. 4,000 upvotes, you know? How am I supposed to, maybe I got higher standards, you know what I'm talking about? Number 33. When I was in high school, a college guy asked me out. We both didn't know what to do after dinner, so we drove around the neighborhood in his uncle's sports car just talking. Then the cops pulled us over because there were 3 calls of a car just driving around and around. That's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. You know, you guys didn't know what to do. That's cute. Weird, honestly. Weird. Number 32. Second date. Went zorbing. What? I guess zorbing is when you put yourself in a big ball and then roll around. Nigga, whatever floats y'all boat, crackers. Anyone who doesn't know what it is, you get strapped into a giant inflatable ball and rolled down a hill. It was awful. The ball wasn't inflated properly, so every rotation you hit the floor and it hurt. And it was wet, so there was water inside the ball, and we had to jump out at the bottom of the hill into a puddle, so wet sock galore. The whole experience was horrible. Gave us something to talk about though, and we've been together for nearly 4 years. Good for you. Dude, I just feel like some people must go doing that, not knowing what they're getting into. Like they're biting off more than they can chew, and then they vomit all over the place, you know? Inside the damn thing. So I wouldn't want to get in a giant ball that I know somebody else has been in vomiting. Come on now. What are they gonna do, just hose it off? Get that fuck out of here. Vomit gets all up in them creases and Jimmy flaps. Number 31. Some backstory. I had a guy friend in high school who wanted to date me and I didn't, so I said no. He then told everyone I knew that I was a slut and did drugs, and what do you know? Tons of guys turned out to have had sex with me, which wasn't really true. Anyway, I somehow got a reputation for being a slut without actually doing anything. So this guy, who is a big nerd, asks me out on a date. And I said sure, because he was cute. And I kind of liked him. I had been to his house before, so after we go to a decent dinner, we go back to his place to watch TV. I should have known, but I just assumed that this guy was really poor like me and couldn't afford to do more. So we get there and none of his family is home. And as soon as we walk in, he is leading me to his bedroom, not even smiling, with a really solemn look on his face. I just kind of laughed and told him I don't really have sex with everyone. I was expecting maybe he would act like that wasn't his intent, or he would be mad, but he straight up started crying. The rest of the night was spent talking about how shitty high school is and how much pressure he felt to lose his virginity, but didn't even like me that much. He had a girl he actually liked, but he wanted to be experienced. Then we watched Mystery Science Theater. He is still one of my friends today, but it was definitely a weird date. And then he started crying. And then you watched Mystery Science Theater. Oh my god, people's lives, bro. Number 30. Matched on Tinder with a theater girl who was into cosplay. Bing bong. But Tinder, no way, man. Look, guys, here's the bottom line. One of the things I have on my, I think like when I made like a dating profile a while back, I think one of the things that I said on there is that I'm probably looking for the type of girl who would never get on something like this. Do you know what I mean? The type of chick that would never even want to go out. So the likelihood of me finding her on here is just insane. Do you know what I mean? So dude, it's just like, I'm not saying that there are bad people on Tinder. I'm just saying the type of people that would use it, like, wouldn't be the type of people for me. Okay, I'm just one guy. I don't reflect any large umbrella of ideals, you know. But I know I'm not the type of person that would really be jumping on an app like that to use people, to be judging them superficially by how they look at a glance, and then being like, yeah, I'll take that one. Let's go out on a date. You know what I mean? I'll meet you at the bar where we can get some drinks. Shit. What if you don't drink? What if you don't bar? So this is weird, because this is interesting. He says he matched with a theater girl who was into cosplay and claimed to be a lesbian and wanted to try dick. You know, it's a hell of a sentence, guys. Matched with a Tinder girl who is a theater girl who is into cosplay and claimed to be a lesbian who wanted to try dick. Okay. We met at a cafe. She said that she had a girlfriend doing the same thing. Luckiest man alive, I'm thinking, right? We hit it off at the local cafe. I take her to get Thai food. Ugh, God, I hate Thai food. This story's getting worse and worse. We go back to my place and we bang. In the middle of the mind-blowing sex, I realized that there is no fucking way in hell that she could have these skills and still, technically speaking, be a virgin. Of course, I still finished and then brought it up. I said, first time my ass, she said. And she said, nope, but it sure got you fired up. Whoa, I shrugged. then gave her a high five. We went at it all night. Got completely blindsided, and it was awesome. We are currently friends with benefits, and she actually does have a girlfriend. They are both bi and like to fuck guys in different scenarios, not even mad. Never been with a girl who is legitimately pansexual. She fucks everything. I wore a condom. Well, sounds like you were smart about it, and that's what's up. It's just, rude that, girls like this exist. I'm not about being lied to, I'm talking about, but it sure got him fired up, and that works for him. You know what I'm talking about? I've got shit to do, you know what I mean? It makes much more sense for me to just jerk one out and get back to my shit than wasting all my time and assets on floozies that I'm not going to be establishing anything long term with, you know what I mean? You got to think about this economically. Even if I had disposable income, I'd rather just throw that money directly into the trash than spend it on some chick that may or may not be telling me the truth. That is just living out some stupid scenario role play. You know what I'm talking about? Fuck me. Like, that's what this was. She was into theater, and like the stage tonight was our venue out to go get food and then bang. Get me the hell out of here. I'm too old for this shit, you feel me? And I was too old when I was like 12 years old. I had my business cards on the table like, listen, man, I got time for this shit. Number 29. This happened twice to me, okay? This happened twice to me. Yeah, that's why you said twice, because there's a 2 after it. This happened twice to me. I'll be talking to a girl, and then I'll ask her out, specifically using the wording, we should go get a beer sometime, and they'll agree. And we'll go to a bar with a great selection of beer, and I'll order one. And at this moment, they'll tell me that they don't drink alcohol. That's how you know this man's attractive. That's how you know this man's charming. I'll say some shit like, you know what? You and I should go for some avocado pie. And then the girl goes, yeah, sure. Oh, that's great. That's great. We get out and she's like, I've never really tried this. Like, why wouldn't you have said something before? Like, are you surprised? Yeah. It's not even that the women are socially awkward, as a commenter responds. It's like, when somebody makes the implication that you guys should go out and do something together, them responding in the affirmative doesn't necessarily mean that they want to do that thing. So again, if I were to invite anybody out to do anything and they said yes, I'd go, oh, that's awesome that you really want to do something with me. So let's really talk about what we would prefer to do, because I know that may not be at the top of your list. So let's agree on something that we would both genuinely have a good time doing, as opposed to just the first thing that I happen to throw at you, because it's not like I have my shit all figured out either, And a movie may be the go-to for everybody, but fuck me. Y'all could go, what's it called earlier? Zorbing? Ooh. Number 28. Let's go zorbing, guys. Crackers. Number 28. I started talking to a girl I came across on a dating site. We made plans to meet about 1 week after we began talking. I ended up canceling the plans a few hours before we were supposed to meet, as I had something come up. I told her I was available the following day, as we do not live in the same city, and a few hours later she responded, asked me if I wanted to take a road trip to another city, a few hours west from where I'm located. She just wanted a co-pilot to keep her company. I agreed, although partially because I felt bad for changing plans at the last minute the previous day. I was skeptical. I've never just taken a random road trip with some girl that I haven't met before. She picks me up in the morning, not too awkward at first, easy conversation for the most part. Within 10 minutes of being on the road, she needs to piss, but can't wait for the next gas station. She abruptly pulls over to the side of the highway and does her business. Okay, I'm thinking, whatever, you gotta go, right? The place we were traveling to is about 200 kilometers from where I lived. You let her pick you up and you didn't have your own car? Man, that's a long way to Uber. I don't know. Do they do that? Does Uber do a long monkey like that? Man, this doesn't sound safe. Let's just say we had to make another 5 stops, 2 more on the highway and 3 gas stations before we arrived at our destination. To piss, dude? Yes, I started to count after the 3rd stop. Anyways, I'm definitely thinking this girl has some kind of STD or issues. That's a lot of piss breaks in such a short amount of time. It's STDs, dude. You dodged a bullet, dude. Imagine if something didn't come up and you got zizzy wizzy with this frizzle, and she had some kind of ST dizzle. Oh my god. Okay, so I was needing to pick up a few things up in blank city. So it was just things. So it wasn't just things, it was her 74-year-old grandmother, who I would shortly be meeting for lunch, along with a few other members of her family. I said to her, "What the fuck? You're kidding, right?" And she wasn't. For fuck's sake, at this point, I did not have much choice considering she is my ride back home. Long story short, it was awkward as fuck. Her aunt, a cousin, and some family friend with her grandma. It was like a friggin' family reunion, and I felt like I was in some kind of dark comedy show, and I had to improvise bullshit. Anyway, made it back home for more pee breaks on the way back home, and having to pretend / lie to her grandmother about actually knowing anything about this girl. Yeah, I didn't talk to her again. How is that for awkward? Jesus Christ, get an upvote, sir. How did you jump into a car to drive hours with some chick you never met? You're lucky to be alive. Not that the chick would have done something to you, even though chicks could get guns, but chicks know niggas, and niggas will fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? Can't trust females, especially females you don't know. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's scary as hell. This guy's lucky to be alive. Number 27. Ooh, give me a second. Sorry. Oh. Really felt like I was gonna sneeze. Number 27. The first time I ever used Tinder was also my worst experience with Tinder. The date itself was fine, a little stiff, but fine. Typical questions like, what are you studying? Where did you grow up? We ate dinner and I didn't plan on meeting with him again. The next day, I got a text from him saying, "Hey." I text him back, "Hi." He asks me, "What's up?" I say, "Not a whole lot. What's up with you?" End up getting a huge paragraph back talking about his creative process for writing and trying to direct a specific type of porno where women crush rats and tarantulas between their breasts. What the fuck? Crushing tarantulas and rats between your breasts is a pretty specific scenario. I don't know, man. If there was a little more gimmicks in that, maybe it would go viral. But crushing a rat, that's got to be some big breasts, and it's got to be a lot of power, dude. And you got to ask the question: are they going to be alive? Because I don't think there would be point in crushing the animals if they weren't alive. You know what I mean? But like a rat, dude, rats can bite, dude. Seems not safe for them titties. I'm Mr. Booby expert, and I'm not gonna endanger these boobies. Number 26. This is just turning into a Tinder crazy date story. Tinder matched with a guy who was half an hour late for the date. The first thing he said to me was, "You're too tall. You're taller than me. I'm 5'5". Was wearing flats. Nowhere on his profile was his height listed. Never mentioned anything about it. He said he'd buy me a drink for being late, so I figured I'd get a beer out of it. We chatted for a bit, and our jobs and school and whatever. I checked the time and realized I have to catch my bus back home. I lived in the suburbs with my parents at this point. He says, "Okay, I'm coming with you." No. Well, I guess you can come back to my place. My roommate is there, though. "I'm not coming home with you. I made that clear long before we even met up. I bought you a drink. You owe me." "What the hell? I owe you nothing." He puts this super angry face on and starts negging me. "You're not even that hot. What the hell? I am not going to sleep with you. I'm going home." He just stalks in the opposite direction, and I get a message on Tinder later. "This isn't going to work out." No shit. She said, came across the dude on Bumble later. What the hell is Bumble, guys? His profile picture was a pic of his abs. The secondary pic was him sexting with a girl. So you know I can make girls come. Oh my god. Oh my god. I like that she even bothered talking to this loser after he goes, "You're too tall," and it wasn't a joke. And he didn't say that like as a joke. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just don't get it, guys. Number 25. I got asked out by a girl I knew and was sort of interested in, but didn't really know that well. We went to an open air jazz concert. Not really my thing, but sure, jazz is cool. Once there, she immediately was all over me, hugging, sitting on my lap, etc. Dude, she just banged another dude and is probably pregnant and wants your thing in there so she can throw that baby at you, baby. Don't let these girls throw that baby at you. You see somebody throw a baby at you, you swat it to the ground. Shit ain't my baby. See, if you touch them, then they want to be yours, you know. That's what happened with me and Butter Slice. Somebody threw Butter Slice at me and I was like, what the hell is this? And he was like, Daddy. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Things were going great, or so I thought. It was at that point when things started getting weird. Several band members were giving us strange looks from the stage while playing their jazz music. One piano player was mouthing things in our direction. That's probably their floozy that's been all over them, but I couldn't make out what he wanted. People were rude to me for no reason whatsoever while getting drinks. Long story short, my date knew just about all the people there and wanted to get back publicly at her very large boyfriend for cheating on her. Don't hate on me, jazz fucks. I'm just an innocent sucker. Awkward ending. I met them both later that evening at the train station, and she pretended not to see me. Okay. I'm just sorry, he had to get involved in some bitch being a dumb hoe. Stop using dudes, guys. Stop using people. Jesus Christ, this is a long one. I better love you guys or something. Number 24. My freshman year in college, I had a crush on a girl from my high school. When I asked her out, she informed me that she only dated women, and I am male. Oh man. Did you just assume my gender? Somebody wig out in the comment section, you fucking loser. She insisted that we were still friends. She just didn't roll that way. She offered to be my wingman, and I gladly took her up on that offer. A few weeks later, she had met up with a semi-blind date with one of her friends. We'll call her Monica. The three of us met at Arby's. Ugh. Because we fancy. And my friend tried playing matchmaker. This guy loves theater, and so do you, Monica. Monica loves music, and so do you, man. The date was going fine, so my friend decided to leave Monica and I alone. We talked a bit more and decided to go see a movie. I didn't have a car at the time, so I hopped in Monica's passenger seat and we went on our way. This is when shit got weird. About 2 minutes later, after leaving Arby's, Monica receives a phone call. She says it's her roommate and she needs to answer it. She picks up the phone and I hear a man's voice. I was a bit surprised, but it's not too unusual for a girl to have a guy for a roommate. Monica and her roommate get into some kind of argument and she pulls over at a gas station. Another car pulls up right beside us. Again, I didn't think anything of it at the time. Monica turns to me and says, I need to go talk to my roommate. Just wait here for a minute. I assume that she wants to be on the phone in private, but what happens next will shock you. I love it. Monica gets out of the car and goes to talk to the driver of the car that pulled in next to us. This is when I start to freak out. What are the odds that their roommate happened to pull in right beside us? I hear a bit of yelling, and then I start thinking about an escape plan. At this point, Monica opens my car door and says, hey, I'm really sorry to do this, but my roommate is going to have to take you home. Now, this is the part of the movie where someone in the audience screams, don't go with him now, you'll get killed. White people always go with a strange man thinking everything will be okay. And I could say I got smart and said, no thank you, I'll just walk home. But I didn't. With some combination of confusion and curiosity, I get out of Monica's car and head into the passenger seat with this stranger. We're in my hometown, so I know if he goes any direction he's not supposed to, I can just bail out of the car and run to freedom. The guy was pretty big. I was 6'2" at the time, and he was significantly bigger than me. If that tells you anything. I don't remember his name, but we'll call him Ross. Anyway, Ross starts driving back to my dorm, and we're sitting in awkward silence for most of the trip. Eventually he says, so how do you know Monica? I knew something fishy was happening, so I wasn't about to say we were on a date. I just say, oh, we have a mutual friend, and hope Ross doesn't get suspicious. He just nodded his head and kept driving. Apparently Ross was resolving some anger in his head, because out of nowhere he starts talking as if we were in the middle of a much more personal conversation. Yeah, a lot of people at our church are upset that Monica and I live together. I think they're just assuming we're having sex all the time or something. It shouldn't even matter since we're engaged. But it's still annoying to hear stuff like that, you know? I don't know if they really engaged or if he's just trying to like lock this hoe in as his hoe. Oh my god. That dude was actually calling because he was tailing the bitch and mad because she got a dude in her car. Come on now. Oh my god. But it's still annoying to hear stuff like that. You know, I just nod my head as I realize what just happened. Apparently my lesbian friend set me up on a blind date with an engaged girl, and her fiance came and picked me up to take me home. I was silent the rest of the night. I told Ross wrong dorm so he wouldn't know where I lived, and I got out of the car and just walked around campus for a bit. It was definitely the strangest date I've ever been on. Somebody said maybe they were on a date and Ross didn't get the message. This is a Friends reference. Well done, guys. You brought it all full circle. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. Number 23. So I met with this guy. I was in college in DC, and he invited me to go on his motorcycle to his family's farm in rural Virginia. Sounds pretty lame. I told my breast friend, and she was appalled. He could be an axe murderer. You could come home in a dozen pickle jars. What's with people coming home in pickle jars? You know what I mean? You find a big bag to put some bodies in. You either chop them limbs up, dissolve them with, what am I talking about? I told my best friend, she was appalled. I poo-pooed her and went on the 2-hour ride out to the farm. We get there, and I take a walk up to the mountain behind the farm. He's picking me wildflowers along the way. We're having a grand time watching the wild turkeys. And as we're walking down, there's a fence with a tree growing next to it. And I decide to swing myself over the fence like Tarzan. Unfortunately, there was a huge rock at the landing point, and I took a nasty tumble, spraining my ankle pretty bad. Oh yeah, and you did it yourself. This had nothing to do with me, baby. So now you got a sprained ankle. Oh no, looks like you can't get away too well, sister. We limped back to the farmhouse, really a 2-room cottage, and got my boot off, and it was immediately obvious I wouldn't be getting it back on. So much for riding home that afternoon, he said. We'll have to spend the night here and wait for the swelling to go down. I'm thinking, pickle jars. He rides to the local IGA, picks up some food, nothing in the house, and comes back with groceries and asks, guess what's for dinner? Chicken Kiev, I answered, and it was the most unlikely thing I could think of at the time. His face fell. He had picked up the ingredients to make chicken Kiev, thinking it would impress me. We should have known right there. We've been married for 31 years and have 2 kids. Wow, dude. That's a fun story. Wish some girl would come over and sprain her ankle for my ass. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh no, my ankle is sprained. I hope you don't do anything to me, Kyle. Oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta take this bra off. It's pinching me. The underwire is killing me, Kyle. Don't look. Don't look, Kyle. No.
Number 22. I met a guy from OkCupid. Another dating thing. The first time we met up in public place and just had a casual chat. It wasn't a horrible date, but it wasn't very memorable either. I decided to give him... Jesus Christ, come on. I decided to give him another try because it could have just been nerves. The second date he invited me over to his place. I knew he lived with his parents, but I kind of assumed they'd be away. They weren't away. They kept coming into the lounge room and giving us iced tea and chips whilst he played Xbox in his track pants with no shirt. I sat there awkwardly watching. He didn't really speak to me much. It was 11 p.m. and he was in his 30s. He was 34. Wow. I don't know what's stranger, the fact that you were in the lounge room and not in like his personal room, the fact that his parents were coming in and out, and they were offering you shit, and it was like wicked late, or that, I don't know. It's got to be the parents. It's got to be the parents, definitely. I mean, the age is bad. You ignoring the girl to play Xbox games is pretty bad. It's very confusing stuff. Very confusing stuff. I don't know. This sounds incredible. This is incredible. This is an incredible entry here. I'm sorry for this girl. I am sorry for this girl. That's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Number 21. I met a girl online, decided that we should meet for a date. I'm female, by the way. This sort of thing matters. I'm glad. I wish I saw this shit more in people's entries. I arrived in a strange town and I didn't know, so I relied on her to show me around. She took me to a youth LGBT group. I thought we were staying, didn't mind. It's a bit odd, but I was newly out. Turns out it was just a chance for this girl to show off that she did in fact have a date. They didn't believe her apparently, and I existed. It was really awkward. Oh man, she's just used you as a freaking object. When the youth group leader came in, she stood up, grabbed my hand and said, "Later, bitches," and we walked out. Went to a bar for a drink, and then on for some food. It wasn't going well. She was very odd, but I was new to all this, and in a town I didn't know. Once we'd eaten, she said, "Oh, I just need to see a mate who's staying at XYZ hotel." Fine. Went to see this friend. Oh no, she'd booked a hotel room for us for the night. Yeah, I left pretty quickly after that. I may have been inexperienced, but I wasn't about to be tricked into a night in a rough hotel with an odd little lesbian. No, thank you. That's my girl. She got out of there when it got wicked stupid. Instead of just going through with it because you one of those pushover girls that doesn't like confrontation. Number 20. Oh God, give me a second. Number 20. Strangest date I've been on. That one's easy. Met this girl online, and the way the conversation went, it was always friendly, getting to know you type banter. After a few online conversations, we met up at a bar by her. Bars, dude, I just don't get that scene. I'm not trying to meet nobody in no damn bar. I get that for most of you, it's just like a place to meet that's public. Do you get what I'm saying? But fuck all that. Y'all can't go to a library or some shit. You know what I mean? Can't go to a comic book store. Can't go to a GameStop, something stupid like that. GameStop would be weird, I understand. At least there's drinks to make you guys calm down, because that's how you guys loosen the fuck up or some shit like that. But maybe that's part of the problem. Why am I criticizing people who like to go to bars? Y'all do you, and I'll do me. We met up at a bar by her. The plans for the evening were to have drinks, then go to play Donkey Kong Country at her place. Being the oblivious male I am, I genuinely was excited to play some Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. We met up at the bar, and things go fine. And I wasn't really attracted to her at all, but she was nice, and we had an alright time at the bar. So we go back to her place and start watching TV. I look around, and I don't see a Super Nintendo. Thought maybe it was in her room. I don't mention it because I don't want to seem rude. She makes some drinks, we're watching Drunk History, and all of a sudden she looks at me with murder in her eyes and says, "Are we going to stop playing games?" Oh. I looked at her smiling, trying to play it off. "Do you mean Donkey Kong Country?" She really didn't appreciate that. She scoffs and then proceeds to chide me about how guys are always wanting to play games and want sex. I told her that the only game I was wanting to play was Donkey Kong Country. This is when it got weird. She gets up off the couch calmly, walks to the kitchen, and pulls a butcher knife out of somewhere. She stands in the kitchen, still with the look of murder in her eyes, and stares me down. She doesn't move at all, just staring with the butcher knife at her side. I look back at her for what feels like a few minutes, and then I jump up and dash for the front door. I didn't even bother closing the door behind me, and I hear the door slam, and she's shouting at the top of her lungs, "Fucking asshole! Playing games! Fuck you!" I'm sorry. I like my delivery of the playing games. like she's a female Dalek or something. Playing games, play, exterminate. So a night. Night of what I was hoping to be relaxing, friendly conversation and Donkey Kong Country turned into maybe I could have been murdered. The dating story. Oh man, that's pretty sad. I'm sorry. You know, yeah, y'all tease about Netflix and chill. I'm really trying to video game and chill. You know what I mean? You guys like the ideal date. You know what I mean? Be some like, hey, you want to come over? I want you to give me some tips on Overwatch, Kyle. You know, I want you to show me what's going on. And then they're playing, and I'm just like, oh, you know, I would do this more. I wouldn't really give them no real tips. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm too intense. You know, people can't deal with that. But I would just be saying, oh, you know, try to group up on your teammates occasionally. You know, use them as the pawns that they are. Let somebody else be the first into a scenario, and then you can have the jump when you get in there. You know, they're probably going to be running around on Diva or May or some bullshit like this. So I'll always remind them to put the ice wall to separate other people so you can engage one target at a time type shit. You know, use other people, because while somebody is killing one person, that's when you can swoop in and just take care of business while they're preoccupied. But maybe after a while she's all like, oh Kyle, why don't you show me? You know, you show me what's going on. And then you know, wait a bit, what's her hand doing down there? Don't just play it cool, Kyle. Just you gotta go to the objective, Kyle, while she's going to the objective. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Alright, it's enough. Shut up, Kyle. God, I want a video game and chill. 19. I have 3 separate dates with 3 separate women that all turned out to be either Christian revival meetings or Young Life. Come on. Ew. And they calling it a date? Nigga, kill yourself. Why y'all gotta ruin other people's lives? Find somebody that's all about the stupid shit that you're about. This applies to everything, dude. If you're into like that crap, find somebody who's into that crap, you know? This applies to people who, you know, want to be in like relationships that have multiple partners and shit like that. Find somebody who is about that crap. Why are you corrupting somebody that only wants to have like an exclusive one-on-one monogamous relationship with your life of liking to get around? You know, there are other people out there that like to get around too. So why don't you monkey up with them? Just like the transgender people, baby. You know what I mean? You need to find yourself a partner that is down with the fact that you used to be this, then you had an operation or are taking hormones to be the other person, you know? You can't be out there trying to trick men who only like girls into liking you. Because I'm a girl now. I can't have a baby. I can't menstruate, but I'm taking the hormones and I took my dick and I just shoved it back up inside there and I has a vagina, so you better like it. You talking about you ain't like it? I thought you liked me. I thought you liked it. Everything was fine when you didn't know I had a pee-pee vagina. A pee-pee vagina? Guys, number 18. Met a guy online. I'm guessing they said met because they wrote meet. Man. He asks me to dinner at a tapas place. I agree because I'm bored and he seems nice enough. We'd been texting for a couple of weeks and he seemed chill. I get there and he's late to meet me. That is such a big no-no, guys. Looks nothing like his profile, about 100 pounds heavier, bad skin, and is just dressed really sloppily. But I told myself not to be shallow. We were looking over the menu, which was fantastic, by the way, and I suggest a few things I'd like to eat, and he begins saying that he doesn't eat sweet potatoes, aioli, capers, salmon, radish, arugula, kale, balsamic vinegar, etc. Basically all the ingredients except for bread, meat, and cheese. Oh. And that he won't eat any food if that's what I order. I tell him to get what he wants, and I'll get something for myself. We get our food, and he is the messiest eater I've ever seen in my life. Getting crumbs and food bits all over his shirt. The whole table. And it was just painful to watch. He also kept insisting I try his food, but I'm pescatarian and lactose intolerant, so I declined. At which point he began berating me and my food choices and being a picky eater. She's the picky eater when you was listing all the shit that you don't eat, homie? They clear out a table for dessert, And he then gets down on one knee and tries to give me a promise ring because he felt a special bond with me and wanted to pledge his life to me. Where is he from? Church? A promise ring? What the fuck, homie? After you embarrassed yourself with this messy eating and all of this, like, oh, you're such a picky eater. What the hell are you talking about? This is something out of a movie. This has all got to be a prank. I would be looking around at this point for some cameras. You know what I'm talking about? He got down on a knee to get a promise ring, and he's a big dude, and he in there messy eating. You a big dude. You are self-conscious as hell about when you eat. You know what I'm talking about? You a big dude. You're trying to listen. Come on now. After having met me online a few weeks before, yeah, no thanks. Politely as I could, I declined, to which he started calling me expletives in the middle of the restaurant, then ugly crying, and stormed out. So I had to pay for the terrible date he asked me on because I didn't want to accept a pre-engagement ring. Too long didn't read, a guy I met online turned out to be really odd and throws a hissy fit. You know that he went back to mom and told her the whole story. He was just mad that he couldn't have tendies for dinner. Number 17, guys. Wowee. This was in high school. I asked a girl out to coffee at a local coffee shop. She said yes. Seems excited. I show up and agreed upon time, only to see that she's brought a bunch of her friends. Oh, bro, that's a no-no. I guess this isn't a date now. Despite the weird situation, I have fun. Then I get a text from my brother that he's going to be nearby and could pick me up in his car. Tell the girls I need to get going. They stop talking and just stare at me. Nervously, I explain that my brother will be there soon. They don't say anything. I hear my brother honk his horn outside the coffee shop and awkwardly slip out of my seat and head to the car, saying goodbye to the still silent and staring girls. Then a week or so later, I get a call from the girl I had asked out. She's furious that I stood her up. Apparently confused, I apologized and explained that the whole thing was really weird. She starts to laugh at me and informs me that I'm actually on speakerphone and all her friends, the ones that were at the coffee shop, are there. They all laugh and make fun of me for being confused and apologizing. I just hung up and never spoke to them again. I never figured out what their angle was. Prior to the date, me and the one girl got along really well, and she definitely seemed to be attracted to me. Here's their angle, because I know some of you are new to the game, but these hoes out there to milk your sorry ass for the money. The game was to have you go out with these hoes that you don't know. They were low-key like making fun of you because they bitches like that, you know what I mean? But they were gonna try to milk you for as much cash as possible, have you paying for their outing and paying for their drinks and all kind of bullshit like that. So when it was time for you to dip, it was like an abrupt end to the dude that they found to milk for the night. So I don't know why they had to follow up with another call to be jerks, you know. And that's the bottom line. It's pretty stupid, but women are assholes, especially when you get a pack of women. We call this the asshole pack. And then all the women are just like,
I hate these men. Men suck my balls.
and they all cut their hair a really stupid way and they dye it. And then one of them's like,
I'm gonna change my name to Anita Sarkeesian because that sounds cool.
Number 16, I went on a date with a guy in my apartment block, only to see his disappointed face when my girlfriend called me on the way home. I realized he'd assumed I was gay, and that I'd assumed he was just a friendly guy who wanted to hang out. Aww. Bing bong. I like that you call it a date, but you know, it was just an outing with a friend. Why don't we only affix the term dates to people that are, I guess, into one another in that capacity, so that we won't have these confusions? I went on a date with a guy, but I thought he was just a friendly guy who wanted to hang out. Like, is it a date then? Y'all women are so stupid. Stupid as fuck. There's ignorance and there's stupid, and you're stupid. Women. I'm kidding. Number 15. I like the way I said women, though. Like I cocked my head to the side. Women. Okay. Got set up on a date with this pretty awkward girl. Ooh, I love awkward girls. That's my fetish. Awkward, big titty, weirdo girls, they're like the female Moses like girls, they're shut-ins and they just feel like they're doing everything wrong, and they don't want to mix in with society, and they just want to stay inside their house, and because people are weird and they just don't get you and your interests, and you just want to scroll through Tumblr because what's going on in the world. You do send me a message, Just kidding. I know this one girl who rides a horse. She's pretty swell. Anyway, number 15. Got set up on a date with this pretty awkward guy. He picked me up in his car, which was sort of cool considering we were in high school. But oh my god, he was a nervous driver. What does a nervous driver look like? Are they hunched over the steering wheel going, okay, Jesus Christ. So nervous, in fact, that he accidentally ran a red light, lost his shit, ducked into a residential area to sit at the end of the cul-de-sac, freaking out, thinking the cops were coming. I tried to explain that if a cop had seen him, we'd already have been pulled over, and the dude was too freaked out. I don't remember anything else from the date, just that. It was uneventful, and I never really talked to him again because we had nothing in common. That's quite the story. If that's the worst date that's the strangest date you've been on. Dude dove into a cul-de-sac because he was so scared driving. Oh my god, they're gonna get me. Number 14. Damn, this is a big one. These are some long ones, man. You guys lucky today, baby. These are some long ones. Number 14. Okay, I have never shared this story online before, but here goes. Should I call Stripes? None of you are here to say, no, you shouldn't call Stripes, so I feel like I'm going to call Stripes. And then I'm going to have to let her go. And then she's going to have like a panic attack because that's what she does. Okay, just calling Stripes. Give me a second. Well, she's not picking up. Wow, can't believe that. Wow. Well, look, if Stripes is busy, then I understand. If Stripes is busy, then I understand. Number 14. I was going to have a second date with this girl. She knew of 3 parties happening on the same night, so she shells by the seashore. Well, hello. It is I, Kyle.
Did I miss something?
Do what?
Did I miss something?
I was just calling you to see if you wanted to be involved in the list.
Oh.
What do you mean, aw? What did you want something otherwise?
No, it's just like, if I didn't call back, you would have just left it alone.
Yes, I would have. I'm supposed to be blowing up your phone 1 billion times when you don't answer? What kind of world are you stupid assholes living in? Like, I've heard that more than once from people. And that's not the way that things go. That's not how men work. I know that people work differently, and that's like something that boggles people's minds, but not everybody is the same. And on a man's side of the street, that's called fucking harassment. You know what I mean? That literally will stand up in court. They can literally just hold that phone up and say, look at how many numbers is by this guy missing the call, and he just kept calling. You know what I mean? I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad, Stripes. I'm not gonna blow up your phone to the point where it's just like, I'm trying to reach you. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here. Love you, sweetie. But I assume that you were sleeping or busy. Otherwise, you'd have picked up the phone when I called. Do you understand? You saw the missed call, and what did you do? You called back. Okay, so we're talking right now, and everything's fine. If you miss a call from me in the future, you're damn skippy. I'm not going to keep blowing it up. And so, you know why I do that? So that in the event that I do blow up your phone in the future, you would immediately be able to assume that it's an emergency, because that's not the whole shit that I'm on a normal basis. If I blow up your phone all the time, there's no way for you to know just at a glance that something has gone wrong. But if I'm blowing up your phone, you should be thinking, is somebody dead? Did somebody break into the house? Is something crazy going on? Because that's how people work. And if I do one thing the same way my entire life, you can anticipate, based on fluctuations in my behavior, whether or not something is or isn't right. No news is good news, Stripes. Just use your brain, guys. Remember that. Number 15 is something that I just read, but I'm not going to read it again. Okay? Do you want to know what the name of the list is?
Sure.
It's what's the strangest date you've ever been on. Did you just wake up, those Stripes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh God, I should let you go then. It's got to be like 11 o'clock for you. When do you get into bed? Because I'm getting to bed pretty late too, but I'm waking up at around 10.
I don't know, weird hours. I just don't really feel like sleeping at night anymore.
Man, are you getting work done?
No, I'm just minding orders right now.
I could let you go if you want. Because this is called strangest dates you've ever been on.
Well, I'd have to contribute since I don't go on dates.
No, I mean, well, it's not like a confession podcast. I'm not demanding that you live anything. I'm reading them. You remember how lists go?
I suppose I do. Alright. I'll let you finish that then.
Nah, you're not going anywhere. Number 14, Stripes. You ready?
Sure.
Oh my god, you sound like you're just like a battered housewife right now. Are you okay?
I just woke up.
You just woke up? Don't you have your water?
Yeah, I have some. Well, I mean, it's barely any, but I got it.
Stripes, number 14, okay? I was going to have a second date with this girl. She knew of 3 parties happening on the same night, so she suggested that we hit all 3. Sounded good to me, so off we go. I really stumbled over that she suggested shit earlier because if you say it too fast, it just sounds really bad. At a party 1, her best friend from college is there that she hasn't seen in 4 years. They immediately run off together, and I'm left with the friend's boyfriend having a drink. I think to myself, this is no big deal. She hasn't seen her friend in a long time, and the night has a lot more to go. So she comes back after a while, suggests that we head to another party. Great. Arrive at the second party. My date immediately runs off with some other friends, like Tim, oh my god, how are you doing? And dashes across the party to find him. Slowly follow behind, but then they keep scurrying on to talk to other people without the girl making it clear that she wanted me to come. I feel really awkward because she doesn't introduce me or say anything about me. It's just an awkward guy that no one knows. I get tired of that and go to the bathroom, where I find the door has been ripped off its hinges. I find a screwdriver and fix the door before using the bathroom. Fast forward 30 minutes, my date finds me and suggested that we go to the final party, but this time her friend Tim is going to join us. Okay. Arrive at the third party. As soon as we walk in the door, Tim says he needs to get cigarettes, and the girl and Tim run out for cigarettes and leave me at the new party with all these other people I don't know. They're gone for 45 minutes, by which time I decide that this date isn't working out and I just should go home. When my date comes back with cigarettes, I tell her I'm leaving and she flips out. She starts screaming at me in front of everyone about how she was going to have sex with me later and how I ruined everything, then proceeds to scream, "You're not leaving me, I'm leaving you." Okay. After which she bolts out and slams the door. Then everybody at this party, whom I don't know, is staring at me while my date, who brought me there, has abandoned me. Somebody eventually comes and offers me a drink. I stay for another hour and laugh it off with people at the party, and I'm still friends with some of those fine people today. Man, some hoes are crazy, dude. How do you dodge bullets like that? Somebody said, I like how you fixed the door. That's a man's man, you know what I mean? You find a door at a party that's broken and you like, god damn. I'll never forget this one time, Benjamin and I, you don't know Ben, but I play a lot on PS4 with Ben. Ben and I were at a party, it was somebody's birthday party, and I think they duct taped 40 ounces to their hands and then smashed them together. And naturally there was blood everywhere. So Ben and I like go get first aid equipment and help this nigga out. And it was just like the dumbest thing in the world. I was like, man, I remember that day as being like the day where I was like feeling like an adult and wanting nothing to do with these types of parties again. That was good stuff.
I'm glad that's what you needed to set you straight.
It's not that I needed something to set. Like, parties for a long time had just been like this whole I'm showing up so that nobody gets offended, But then I'm leaving, grabbing food on the way home, and we were gonna play some games when we get home. Like some people would like latch onto me when I got to the party because they knew that I was dipping. You know what I mean? They knew that it was only a matter of time before I was just like, all right, hello, this is you. Look at you. I would point at them and be like, aha, you see me, I see you. I was here, okay. And then I would just go get that Taco Bell on the way home, and we play Halo. Play some Gears of War. Those were the days, man. Halo. Ooh, Halo was the Overwatch of the time. It was the Overwatch of the time, girl.
I didn't know Taco Bell did catering.
I would grab the Taco Bell on the way home, I said.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant they provided it. You just dipped with the food. With a lot of food.
I'm willing to think that anywhere will do catering in a way, you know? Especially since, somebody will deliver shit these days.
I want a catering-sized bucket of that Chick-fil-A sauce. It's really good.
I don't think that Chick-fil-A sauce is as good as you think it is, but I think a lot of girls are attached to it. Maybe they're putting like some kind of estrogen crack in there.
Baby powder.
Nah,
It's
man.
baby powder.
They just like splice that crack in with some sort of estrogen that and then the girls go, woo, this is the best sauce ever. It's getting hot in here. Number 13. This story isn't as strange as some, but it's my strangest. A guy I'd met a few times contacted me and asked me on a date. I had never been asked on a date before and accepted despite thinking him a little strange and having heard some odd things about his family. I can't imagine like how weird somebody has to be before shit about their family gets out. You know what I mean? Or how weird the family has to be. Because you would imagine that certain families keep that shit nice and under control when other people are on the table. You know what I mean? Like somebody comes over to your house, your parents are forced to just act normal, you know? But if they're the type that are just going to be screaming and carrying on and being fucking morons, even when the friends are over, I guess they don't care about their reputation, which is fine. I mean, caring about your reputation is pretty basic, but most old people have nothing but their reputation. So they got to keep that shit, they got to keep it under control here. He picked me up and everything seemed good. We decided to grab a pizza and eat in the park. Aww, that's so cute. Yeah, girls love picnics. When we went on to purchase a pizza, it turned out that he worked there and had to call his coworker. Oh my God, had all his coworkers come out to gawk at me? This guy wasn't very popular with the ladies and seemed to be proving that he had a date. I'm bad in social situations and got super uncomfortable, but didn't know how to bail. And we went to the park. That poor girl. Because if she had more of a backbone, she'd have left that motherfucker right there. I hate it when people use people as trophies. This happened earlier in the list stripes, where like a gay girl took another gay girl to like a gay people meeting, like a LGBT youth group, and pretty much just brought her there to be like, hey everybody, see, I told you, look at this kid. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Can't be using people as trophies. The story continues.
Well, maybe she was just like giving them hope that, hey, there's good-looking lesbians out there, guys. It'll be okay. The pickings aren't slim. You don't know.
You're still touting that person as a trophy, Stripes, and that's rude, you know? If this is somebody that you've been with for a long time and you're kind of proud of them and you want to wear them on your arm and show people, you know what I mean? Okay. But when it's like very early on in the interactions and you're still in like the, I guess, dating phase for most people, and you're basically just bringing them to show people to go, look at this, you know what I mean? Yes, it's flattering in a way, but it's still awkward and uncomfortable. It's not something that you should do. Like, this is what we call a faux pas. It's just like, come on. Are you so basic? Are you so lame? You know what I mean? That this is what you're about. Because a relationship should be between two people. This shouldn't be about other people. Do you get what I'm saying? If you feel strongly enough about each other, you don't give a damn what's going on outside of your bubble. But when it's all about what other people think and what people are going to say, and you better wear this and you better look like that, and we're going to go so that I can show you to these people that I know, like, you're basic, motherfucker. You're not living your life. You're living a life that is dictated to you based on what society finds like gangster and what's going on in a magazine. You watch a lot of reality TV shows and you want to live that life and you want people to look at you and think of you as this motherfucker. I get a shitload of money right now. I'm not buying a crazy car. I'm not buying a crazy house. I'm not wearing all kinds of ridiculous watches. I'm not trying to show on my sleeve that I'm better than other people or that I'm somehow in a tier higher than them, because that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? But other people, is all about them appearances. It's all about them appearances. And that's pretty sad, you know? To be honest, I would rather people be followers in like the way where they look at a rap video and be like, damn, if I get some money, I'm gonna buy some rims and put them on my car. I'll buy some gold chains and get gold shit on my teeth. I'll be smiling to have this crazy grill just full of gold teeth. You know what I'm saying? Better than like just living a life that's not even about what you want to do because other people have it, so you might as well have it too. Like, come on, man.
That reminds me of a picture I saw earlier of like this cute chick who was done up with her hair and her nails in a dress, but she's eating a little cup of ramen.
I can't click any of my links because I don't know what they are anymore. That's the danger of like naming all this stuff crazy cuckoo monkey ball stuff. Look, okay, we stop interrupting me with this story. You already know my momentum is bad enough.
I wasn't interrupting you with the story. I was just like,
I get you. He picked me up and everything seemed good. We decided to grab a pizza and eat it in the park. When we went to purchase the pizza, it turned out that he worked there and he had all his coworkers come out and gawk at me. He wasn't very popular with the ladies and was proving that he had a date. I'm bad in social situations and got super uncomfortable, but didn't know how to bail, so we went to the park. I like girls who aren't good in social situations. It was very awkward and I wanted to go home by the end of it. We mostly just sat in awkward silence and tried not to hear each other chewing. Ew. I thought I was going home, but he decided he wanted to stop at his house. I agree because I honestly did not know how to disagree. A girl that's awkward with no backbone, non-confrontational, this dude hit the jackpot. First dating experience, she puts into parentheses. His home turned out to be with his parents. We were both 18 to 20. This wouldn't have been so bad had they not all 10 of his siblings, oh my god, and his parents were home and wanted to meet me on the first few dates. You bringing your parents into this shit. You bringing your family into this shit. We already read one earlier today where some lady went to take some dude that she had never met before out to see like her grandma and her aunt and all this crap. It was so weird. And the dude couldn't run because he took her as a ride. Oh my god. And she kept stopping to pee in the earlier story. The girl stopped to pee maybe like 5 times. Like, stopped the car, got out, and peed right there, Stripes.
Does she have a UTI or something?
That's what everybody was assuming, was that she had some kind of STD. Ooh. Look, his home turned out to be with his parents and 10 siblings. And his parents were home and wanted to meet with me. They weren't just as big a nice family. They were very religious and looked like they belonged to a cult. They all had long hair, homemade clothing. They were homeschooled. The mom said hello. Then the dad came in and nobody was allowed to say a word while he questioned me on what me and his son had done on our date and when the family would be seeing me again. It was terrifying. My date showed me his pet turtles, which were cute, and we finally drove home. He tried to kiss me after making it clear he thought we were in a relationship after one date. At this point, I almost ran from the car. I messaged him later on explaining that I was only looking for friends at this point in time. Oh my bing bong. This is the story that qualified. Holy monkey tribbles. That's some scary stuff. That is some scary stuff.
Like, at first I still feel bad for the girl, but like,
I'm gonna say it like this, Stripes. I think only a thick layer of autism. Again, the type of stuff that people watch on TV and move to a point where they think it's acceptable is deplorable, and if enough people absorb that stuff, they'll be acting like a fool in typical scenarios. But I think it's a very specific layer of autism that allows people to do this many stupid things back to back. Like, you're not engaging this person in conversation, whether you're a friend or otherwise, platonic or intimate, dude. Like, dead air when it's this early is very awkward. So you don't want that, okay? Grabbing them along as something to show off one time on the date, okay, that's a little bit weird. It's a little bit interesting. To be honest, I want to excuse the pizza issue. He works at a pizza place. He brings her in there. Maybe he's, yeah, whatever. He's just showing her off, I guess, to his workmates. But to be honest, after that, he could immediately play that off by, as soon as they walk out of there, I go, I apologize. I just knew that we could get like a lot of pizza for nothing or something. You know what I mean? Because he works there. And you could play that off. But then you're going to take her home to your family on the first date. But they're all religious. So that's the explanation right there. They're all obnoxiously religious, so that's the explanation. Homemade clothing, long dark hair. Wait a minute. And then the dad came into the room and everybody bowed their heads. Yes, Father. Father has the floor. What have you done with my daughter tonight? Even though I'm the boy, I'm your son, Dad. He reminded him. I'm your son. I was calling you my daughter because I know that that's what you'll be in the future. Oh my God. Run. Just run. Stripes, I'm sorry. Number 12, Stripes. I've posted this before because it's so weird. I went for a meal with this girl I met through a dating app and it was going really well. We started talking about the movies and then we decided to go to the cinema to go watch Inception. She said there was a cinema nearby, but I didn't know the area at all, so I used the GPS on my phone and she held it and directed me. Once we got there, we started walking inside and I realized I didn't have my phone in my pocket. I said I must have left it in the car and started walking back to get it. She was trying to get me to leave it and saying we would miss the film, but the phone was only about a week old, so I was really paranoid about it. We checked the car for about 10 minutes, but we couldn't find it. I asked her to check her jacket and her bag, but she said it wasn't there. A couple parked next to us, so I asked them to ring my number because I couldn't find it. It started to ring and it was obviously coming from my date's handbag. She took it out and said it must have missed it. I thanked the couple and locked my car, and as I turned back around, she was walking the other way. I ran to catch up and asked what was going on, but she was very dismissive and was barely talking. That's when I realized it wasn't an accident and just let her walk home alone. Here's the thing about stealing phones, Stripes. As we learned from the dude who stole 100 phones at Coachella. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Some nigga at Coachella tried to steal 100 cell phones. Shit's badass. He had a backpack full of 100 cell phones. That's a lot of pounds of cell phones. All right. Now, let's see. You got an iPhone, that's probably around $600, right? But it's more valuable to us than it is to somebody who's selling them, because a lot of these phones, they have IMEI numbers. A lot of us track our own phones, shit like this. We lose the phone, we call that shit in. We can like remotely erase what's on the phone so that our info doesn't get out. A lot of us are smart enough to put locks on our phone, shit like this. Long story short, we can get a phone blacklisted. And what that means, Stripes, is that a lot of major cell phone carriers will not allow this phone to even be used anymore following it being stolen. So many people who are stealing phones and make a habit out of stealing the phones know that this really does have a diminished value. You can't just sell it the same way that you would as another phone. You would have to basically sell it for parts, which means it's not really worth much. But again, this is like what, grand theft, because he stole so many phones, and the amount goes over what grand theft needs to be considered grand theft. That being said, when you're getting so small an amount for stealing one phone, why even bother? Why even bother, dude? And this hoe met up with a dude to steal a phone. And somebody in the comments says, I have a strong suspicion that she's A, done this before, and B, would have excused herself during the movie and bolted then. Highest probability of a clean escape.
Honestly, it sounds like she's probably on heroin or something, if she's desperate enough to steal people's phone habitually.
If she was on heroin, she would just be trying to get straight money from the dude. You know what I mean? And girls can do that. She'd be on Backpage.
Yeah, I'd imagine that people use dating apps to trick themselves out. Or get tricked out anyway.
She'd be on Backpage, Stripes. She'd be on Backpage. These girls get on Backpage. They know what they're doing. Some of these girls don't even know that they hoeing out until it's too late, because it's so easy to have Instagram entice your life to the point where you're just like, look at my ass, look at my titties on Instagram, and then before you know it, they're on Snapchat posting stories and stuff, and then they'll be like, hey, I'll do this for $3, hey, I'll do that for $5, and hey, I'm not attacking anybody on how they live their life or get their cash, you know what I'm talking about? Especially if some of these suckers willing to just pay you to sit there and do nothing. But be aware of what you're doing and own up to it. Come on now. But the Backpage girls, man, that's intense. You see what I'm saying? I'll never forget. I keep telling you about this one chick, JJ, who, remember, she used to come into the Confession podcast and tell us about how she would like poop on dudes and she was making money. And I was like, man, you know, I'll never be pooping on people for money. You know, shit posting is one thing, Stripes, but shit dropping. Number 11.
Okay, wait, isn't she British and black too?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with British and black? It's like a double whammy to you.
How you gonna be British and black, said Stripes?
I'm not saying
Come
that.
on now, alright? I've seen British people, and I've seen black people, but British black people, that's crazy.
Number 11. God, Stripes. Internet date at a bar. First time meeting the guy. He tells me over a bowl of eggplant chips that he's no good in bed, that the last woman he boned spontaneously lactated from the mind-blowing pressure blow. Oh, that he's so good in bed that the last woman he boned spontaneously lactated from the mind-blowing pleasure. Somebody has been watching some crazy hentai. Somebody said, did he make your titties leak or not? Somebody has been watching some crazy hentai. You know that hentai like that exists, right? Where like the girl's getting banged and then she starts like the milk just starts gushing out her boobs.
Oh wait, so it's like they're jizzing from their nipples or something?
Pretty much. To be honest, like, you know, the hentai is not making it clear whether or not it's like milk or anything, so it's just like exploding from the place. The girl's clearly not pregnant. It's weird stuff. Oh, Stripes. Did you hear that you could take hormones to lactate? That's interesting. I wouldn't suggest it though, because it would mess up people's breasts. I think it would mess up the girl's breasts for real. I think like even normal getting pregnant, then having the boobs fill with milk, and then like when they get drained out, then they get like, you know, droopy. They're sagging and then there's drooping, dude. I think that there's like, you know, I think when, okay, the way that I like to think of it is like you have a balloon and it's got a good amount of water in it right now, and then you inflate that balloon, right? But it doesn't have enough water to fill it properly. So it's like a lot of I don't know how to describe it. You've seen droopy boobies. Those poor girls. What?
I haven't said deflated mommy boobies, so.
Well, I guess I have some things to show you after we're done with this list. Number 10, we're coming on home, okay? We're going to go real fast with these. Number 10, I met a girl online, talked it up, and while she seemed a bit immature, I thought, heck, why not? She casually mentioned she really liked pigs. What she meant to say was that she was obsessed with pigs. Obsessed. We go on one of the best restaurant dates in the area for our first date. Sometimes pictures are from someone 10 years prior, or the person hides things, etc. But that wasn't the problem. She looked just like her pictures, but I didn't even have to have seen her first, because everything else gave it away. She came in a giant t-shirt that had a sparkly pink pig on it. Earrings, pig earrings. Bracelet, yep, pig bracelets. I swear her dad might have been Homer Simpson. She had this headband on with a little pig on it. Her shoes, yep, pigs on the front of the toes. But best of all, she had a giant, or at least it seemed like a giant, pink purse with the face of a pig on it. Wonder if she has a pet pig. You could not stop seeing it once you did. And I'm sure everyone else in the nicer, classier restaurant saw it too. I felt overdressed with her, but underdressed with every other couple out there. It was beyond embarrassing. For some reason, which I have to convince myself was politeness, not stupidity, we still had dinner. But Reddit, it was the fastest damn dinner I've ever had at a sit-down place. I practically blurted out something like, "Oh, you really do like pigs," which she started giggling / oinking and going on about how everything she has is pig themed. Then she wouldn't stop, and it became the dominant part of the conversation. There were a dozen other things that made it a train wreck, but these were the clinchers. A solid 0 out of 5 day. I remember afterwards consoling with a friend of a friend because I had to tell someone. And then I promptly buried this as my worst date. I can't, like, this breaks my brain, dude. Part of me wants to know this pig woman. Pig
I've
woman.
been replacing the word pig with cat, and it makes it feel better for me. I don't.
Too long didn't read. Girl obsessed with pigs. Ironically, no porking at the end.
Yeah, I was expecting this to go like that. She's really into Slavs, and maybe she is really into Slavs. That's not where it went for me.
Just because a girl likes cute little piggies doesn't mean that she's into Slavs. She probably wouldn't like actual big ass pot-belly pig. She'd probably like little baby pigs. Girls love little tiny animals, and they hate the big version of the animals. It's weird. Number 9.
Have you heard stories about pigs killing kids?
Yes, and I've heard stories about the pig standing up on 2 legs too and wearing capes. Number 9 wasn't my first day, but killing the kids. Oh my God, Stripes! You just make it seem so like animated. You know, I'm not saying that you are. It's just like, dude, you make it seem like they just come into the house and they're like, and then the kids are just like, no, please. Oh my God, number 9.
They executed him because of his crimes.
Okay, Stripes. Did he have a pig lawyer? Number 9 wasn't my date, but I had gone home with a guy I had been seeing. And when we get there, his roommate is curled in a ball on the couch looking pretty shaken. We asked him what was wrong, and it took him a while to get it out, but he finally told us what happened. He took a girl home from the bar and started drunkenly tearing each other's clothes off as soon as they got through this bedroom door. She said she was self-conscious, though, so she wanted the lights off. It was a man. He switched them off, and they started fooling around. She starts going down on him when all of a sudden the guy notices this horrible smell. He mentions it, but she tells him just to ignore it. He's probably imagining things. Finally, the smell is too much. He switches the lights on. That's when he saw it. Shit. Literal shit. All over her. All over the bed. He is completely dumbfounded. Doesn't know what to say or do, so apparently all he yelled was, "Shit!" She grabbed all her clothes and ran out of the apartment crying without saying a word, and presumably still covered in poop. He threw his bedding out, took an hour-long shower, and refused to go back into his room. Pretty much killed our night too. To this day, I still wondered what on earth happened. Was she into it and was hoping he would be too? Was it an accident and she decided to go with it? I don't know which scenario is more horrifying, to be honest. Stripes. Shit. Okay.
I think I'd rather it would have been a man, honestly.
At least in my scenario, if it, I don't know, man, kissing a man and then realize that he's like, I'm self-conscious, I want the lights off. I like that
Well, it's your damn fault if you couldn't figure it out beforehand.
I don't know, man. I like to think that there are maybe a few passable women, that used to be dudes. There are these like transgender passing
Filipino?
No, what's it called? Transgender, like transition Reddit.
Oh, you found it on
Transpassing, is that it?
Are
And
you
like,
asking me?
look. These
I'm
kids are
I can't see
hormoning
anything.
out. What? You can't see anything. Hold on, let me share the monkey with you. Here. See what's going on. Look, there's this page called Transpassing, okay? And it's just like a whole bunch of people that are just like, oh, I'm trying to become the other one, I can get away with it. I can be a boy now. Come on. I can be a boy, right? Jeez. Male to female. Oh my God. It's not hard to take pictures from angles that make it legit flattering, but some people are never going to get rid of that jaw. You know what I'm talking about? They're never going to get...
You can shave that down in surgery just like you would be getting face.
Again, look, a lot of crackers look... Oh my God. Oh. I mean, look. Oh my God. Oh.
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh.
Stripes, no. Look.
I'm sorry.
Oh. Look. Oh my God. Look. No, look. Where that's...
Why do I feel insulted?
Look at this one. I'm kidding. That's Hillary Clinton. We're done.
You made me a little lightheaded.
I'm sorry. Okay. Number 8, okay. A hot girl from class randomly walked into my dorm room and the door was normally open during the day. She was in the building visiting a friend and saw me playing guitar, so she came in and started flirting. She asked me to meet her at a nearby bar that night at 10, so I agreed. I get there at 10 and she introduces me to her boyfriend. I finished my beer and went to the bar my friends were at. What?
Okay. I really don't have any feelings about this one way or the other.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the first one. It's really funny that you say that, because the first one in this thread that I read, I said, what's wrong with you, Kyle? Ugh, I guess it's right. But the first one in this thread that I read, I said, ugh. It's weird how that came out. Anyway, look, what I said was, I have no feelings about this one, towards either end of the spectrum, and I just continued. It's very strange. Number 7, I was a waitress, and I had a table of 2 guys. One was very cute and flirting with me, and we exchanged numbers. He asked me out, and I said yes. I didn't really go out much, and he didn't tell me where we were going out or what we were doing. Me being young and dumb at the time, thought that would be exciting. So he drives me a pretty good way from my house and we get to an elementary school. I was really confused. Apparently he was a basketball coach and they had a game that night. So at this point I notice I have no reception on my phone and I really wanted to leave, but I thought maybe we were going somewhere fun afterwards, so I gave up trying to call someone to rescue me. I sat there and watched this game right next to this dude's mom. Yeah, this was going well. Finally, the game ended, and we go get in the car, and his friend from the restaurant gets in the front seat, making me sit in the back. I am super uncomfortable with this, and I ask what's going on. They basically tell me they want to run a train on me.
Ugh.
Stripes, what?
Well, I think once you told me that some guys are purposely
how do you
upfront.
just get up into the idea that this chick is the type that's down for a train? This is something you discuss with a girl first. And then 2, Stripes, the type of chick that wants a train run on her wants to be taken somewhere and maybe gotten real drunk. This girl wants some drugs. This girl wants some drinks. If y'all gonna be running a train on her, what are you doing taking her to your basketball game because you're a coach? What a bitch nigga. Dude, nah, man, this is crazy. They wanted to run a train on this girl and they didn't even discuss it with her first. So they was basically just going to intimidate her into doing it. That's really messed up, man. Oh my God. She's like, no, fuck that. Take me home right now. She got lucky. They moped and took her home. It was terrifying. It was horrible. Somebody said, hey, if you want to run a train on a girl, let her have the front street. It's only polite. Come on now. Number 6, matched on Tinder with a guy who decided that a great story to tell in detail on our date was about the time he fisted a lady and tore her up so bad inside that she was bleeding profusely and had to go to the hospital to get stitches. After he was done telling the story, he told me that he was glad I told him I was super squeamish, because now he wouldn't try to show me pictures of all the blood he saved on his phone. He also said that he had been all on well over 100 Tinder dates, and I had managed to land in his top 10. I never talked to him again.
I want to hear him talk about how he tickled her organs while he was in there.
I've been on over 100 Tinder dates, and you, little lady, are in my top 10, coming in at number 9.
Wait. Can you come up with like a nickname for someone that like habitually fists women? And is proud about making them bleed?
The wet habitufister. Like habitual. You hate it? What do you want? The bloody tickler?
Yes. That's better. Thank you.
Oh, the sock'em, the
Rocco.
the blood-stained sock'em boppers. Oh my god, more fun than a prostate check. Blow 'em up, put your hand inside. What?
Well, no, I don't want to meet a porn star, but I want to come across a porn star that's called Captain Cuniculus.
Did you say cuniculus?
Cunnilingus, sorry.
You're ridiculous, Stripes. Your family must love you. But they probably don't even get any of the hilarious Stripes, huh? You're probably busy trying to be cool around them all the time.
I'm not cool.
I want to hear Stripes hanging out with her family and the stuff that you say. I would kill for that. I'd be like a fly on the wall. I'd be so like interested and quiet. You'd be so unused to it. You'd probably act different if I were there, wouldn't you?
No.
No? Man, I'm super interested now. Whatever. Number 5. 4's been deleted. Oh no. Well, number 5. I had a good friend at university. What?
Hey, you think there's gonna be rape stories in here?
No, there weren't any, unfortunately.
Okay.
I had a great friend in university who disappeared overseas for a year after we graduated. I stayed there to study and teach, and one day I got a text from a number I didn't recognize saying, "Hey, it's Joe from business school. Want to catch up for coffee?" I hadn't seen him in ages, and I said yes very enthusiastically. I walked into the coffee shop at the right time, looked around for Joe, and there's Joe from business school, a different Joe from this business school. I couldn't walk out because he had already seen me, so we chatted politely for an hour, and we've never talked since. Can you imagine? Like, it wasn't the Joe that she thought it was the wrong Joe. So they went into a coffee shop for a cup of Joe, and there he was, you know? The wrong Joe. This is just like a giant cup of coffee.
Wait, so you're going on a date with a giant cup of coffee is what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's I'm like picturing just like a giant cup of coffee going, "Hey, so you've met me I'm Joe."
What if he's holding a tiny man in his hand?
Joe, short for Cup of Joe.
What if this giant cup of coffee is holding a tiny man?
I'm sorry. Why is somebody laughing? You don't see that often. Just somebody writing ha ha ha. It's so stupid. Oh man.
I guess this is why you should well, no. How would you make it not weird to try and exchange pictures? Like, say you remember a girl being hot and then they want to catch up, but you want to make sure they're still hot.
Damn, Stripes, that's some really tricky stuff.
How do you get her?
I think the first step is in sending a picture of yourself and going, I don't know. If you do have a tattoo and it's like on your arm or something, or maybe on your chest, send a picture of that and then go, hey, do you like this tattoo? And then go, do you have any tattoos? If you don't have a tattoo, maybe send just a picture of yourself in some weird thing and go, do you think I'd look good with a tattoo? You know what I mean? I think I should get one. And then, of course, it will incite them to send a picture, of themselves. But like they probably wouldn't be sending any pictures, so you'd be playing hardball. You'd be playing hardball regardless, Stripes. Getting somebody to just do something without asking for it is a little bit tricky. That's like hardball. That's Kyle Town. But I can't reveal my secrets here. That would be weird. People would be all like, "Wait a minute, that was him just trying to with the bing bong." I remember when I used to play on Xbox, a lot of girls would message me, but I had to be sure they were girls. So I would send them a message that said, "sir" at the end of it. And then all of the girls would immediately go,
You mean ma'am, I'm a girl.
right? And I'd be like, oh, you're a girl.
You did the same thing to me.
Yeah, I did.
Not on Xbox, of course.
It was on Steam. Yep. Another fun trick is to go, man, you say something like, I bet that pisses your boyfriend off. And she goes,
I don't have a boyfriend.
or some stupid shit like that. And then you go, oh, interesting, Thanks for that information that you volunteered. But that's just psychology. I'm talking about like getting somebody to do something, and we can't really just be revealing that on the list. Let's get out of here. We only got 3 of these left, Stripes. Number 3. Well, this one time, I took my date to dinner at what seemed to be a front for some type of illicit activity. We had just moved to a new area and we wanted to check out the local shops and restaurants. While we were wandering, we stumbled into a tiny Italian place. Back home, the small hole-in-the-wall restaurants always have the best food, so we were excited to give it a shot. Big curtains were covering the entry windows, so we had no idea what was inside until we trudged through the door. Inside, we were met with the emptiness and silence, and we both immediately thought the store was closed. I spun around and searched for the store hours posted somewhere on the door. While I was looking, we heard a heavy thud as a young woman barked, "I'll be right with you." She appeared, greeted us confusingly, and asked us what she could do for us, which looking back is probably a red flag, but we were naive and hungry, so we said that we were here for dinner. She looked puzzled but motioned us towards her booth right by the entrance. She then disappeared into the back and we heard a muffled conversation between our hostess and a man. The consensus was basically that they were not prepared for us or didn't know how to proceed. I asked my date if she wanted to split, but she insisted we stay for the story. The square-shaped balding man burst through the kitchen door with 2 glasses of water for us, and in a very loud and deep voice explained that it was his birthday, and we would eat what he felt like making us. We wholeheartedly agreed. We waited around for about 30 minutes, and he again returned with 3 large bowls of spaghetti and meat sauce. He placed 2 bowls in front of us and 1 next to me for himself. He sat with us and ate. We had light and awkward conversation with him during, and he kept asking us jokingly if we were cops or with the health board. He was incredibly nervous about this, so my date kept cracking corny puns or awful jokes, and he would forcibly laugh at them, anything designed with humor. We talked about our lives, the cities we lived in, our pets, and he had a teacup chihuahua named Princess and his wife. He decided we were good people and didn't charge us for the meal. He wrote change, motherfucker. We wished him a happy birthday, he hugged us, and we went on our way. Easily the best spaghetti I've ever had in my life. The restaurant, unfortunately, no longer exists. Stripes, I've walked into a place that was a front before, and I was with a friend, and they told us both to get out. Stripes.
You told me about that, yeah.
Yeah, I told you. We walked in and we're like, what do you mean? And they were just like they were like,
wait, no. Okay, I remember you were going in for some soup. It was a soup place, and they wouldn't give you soup.
Almost right, Stripes.
Oh, what was it? Eggs?
Suit. SUIT. We were looking for suits.
Oh, I thought you wanted soup. Well, like, I bet every day is this man's birthday, if you know what I mean.
Somebody said, "Are you sure? Are you sure you didn't wander into an Italian couple's home with booths and stuff in the front? Come on, man." Number 2, man. Here we go. It's 2001, so VHS and chill at this girl's dorm room. My first time over there. There is a giant bear on the bed. Like, got the softball in the milk jug at the carnival first try tier bear. It occupies 50% of the surface area of her bed. I say, "Whoa, how'd you score that bear?" Her,
I don't know.
me, what? Her,
I don't know.
a few minutes go by. You don't know? And her, yeah. And I go, okay, look. It's okay if it's from an ex. I don't care if you stole it. I'll believe almost anything you tell me at this point. But there is no way in hell you're going to tell me that you don't know where this giant bear is from. I had a stuffed dinosaur, a fourth of this size, and I got it when I was 6, and I could tell you every detail about how I got it. Her, well, good for you, but I don't know how I got it. Are you going to be able to let this go? Me, looks at the bear, looks at her back with eyes full of secrets, and then he goes, I don't think I can, and he walks out. It's a deal breaker. You better tell me how you got that damn bear.
Well, like, if you can't be honest about a damn bear, there's gonna be issues down the line.
The bear stared back with eyes full of secrets.
Like, back on the other date, though, with spaghetti, I don't think it was the worst date. It was pretty good.
It was cute, but it was strange.
Like,
I don't think these were worst dates. These were strange dates, so that's fine. Oh, man, number 1. Here we go, guys. Number 1. Fuck me, number 1. Maybe a bit more creepy than strange, but I haven't been on many dates. We met on Tinder. Hadn't talked for too long, but I thought, what the hell? I need to get out more, blah, blah, blah. The first thing she said was, oh, wow, you're so pretty, and tried to kiss me on the mouth. I sort of dodged and gave him a cheek and ignored it to avoid him getting embarrassed. How you gonna try to kiss a girl on the mouth? Come on now. He was not embarrassed. 2 drinks in, we're talking a bit awkwardly, and he clearly is buying me double gin and tonics instead of the singles I'm asking for. I was a bartender at the time. I can taste the difference. When I'm mid-sentence, he grabs my face and says, sorry, I just need to get this out of the way, and forcefully sticks his tongue down my throat. I didn't really know what to do because I didn't want to cause a scene, and he's about a foot taller than me. I said I needed to look up the time for the last train, and he said, no, it's fine, you can stay at mine. I said, thanks, but I'll look up the last train. He begs, saying he'll sleep on the couch. He just wants to get to know me better. Still said no. He huffs very briefly and cheers up and tells me that he'll look up the train for me, like a gentleman. He says it's at 1 a.m. I said, that's late. Is he sure? He gets all tense and says, what, don't believe me? So I smiled and said, of course not. And then a few minutes later, I excused myself to the toilet and checked the time on my phone, which said that the last train was actually at 12:15. Lovely. I went back to my seat. He asked if I wanted to wait at his flat for the last train. I said no. I'm getting Uber now, bye. He tried to beg me to stay loudly and embarrassingly so others could hear. Hopefully I'd get so embarrassed that I'd go home with him. And even pretended that it was his birthday and yelled to the bar that he was protecting me by taking me home because taxi drivers can be rapists. I told him quietly to fuck off, and that I was going home, and he loudly asked for a hug and tried to grab my boobs. I love that this was a 2 out of 10. Like, it could get worse than that.
Maybe she's had worse dates. I didn't know people like this exist. What kind of upbringing do you have to end up like this?
Probably the same type that we did, you know? Sometimes it's really not about how you brought up so much as how you take some of the shit that you've been dealt and go crazy. A lot of the times I like to think that if I were to try to redispense some of the shit that I've gotten, you know, I'd be a crazy person. I'd probably be dead right now. You know what I'm talking about? It's what you do in the scenario in which you're hurled that makes you who you are. You can't really blame upbringing because we all got it bad. You know what I'm talking about? We all got it bad. But if you were just to grab a weapon and make the world feel the pain the way that people have made you feel the pain, we would be crazy people. We would be crazy people. And I'll tell you what, man, I have enough rage built inside me based on some of the shit that's happened to me that I would easily be killing people on the first blow. It wouldn't be like a question of whether or not I'd be giving some love taps. It wouldn't be happening. But again, this is just disgusting, because what scares me most about the scenario is not the girl who had the backbone to stand up to the guy, but girls like in the last, stories that were non-confrontational or didn't know how to excuse themselves. Maybe they went on his word when the train would come, and then they found themselves in a scenario where they were stuck, and then you're under his roof and you're getting raped and stupid shit like this. Girls, take precautions, you know what I mean? Yeah, nigga is bigger than you know what I'm saying? But put yourself in public, put yourself around people. You have your cell phone on you, that's your biggest weapon. Clutch your cell phone for dear life, have that shit where you could basically just hold the button down at any point and bark, Siri, call 911. Call 911. You feel me? Like, you guys are safer than you think. You got nails, you got feet, kick a nigga in the balls, you know what I'm saying? Dudes ain't walking around wearing cups, is the bottom line. You have your voice, you'll always be able to scream. Just don't let your nerves get the best of you. This kind of shit is unbelievable. And to be honest, as rude and awful as it sounds, if you find yourself in these scenarios and things go bad, when you look back, all you'll see are the chances that you had to prevent it. So take these chances when they occur. Don't think about it in hindsight, because that shit will be 2020. That shit will be crazy. You'll just be thinking nonstop about some of that shit. What are some of the responses here? Somebody said, fuck that. That guy is way too rapey. 1 out of 10. That's my 1 out of 10, not 2 out of 10, but bing bong. Oh. Somebody wrote a story in response to the bear story. I am legit concerned that this post is about me. The only thing that doesn't match is the year. It was 1998. And of course, I have no idea where you were. But I can tell you, a bear showed up with no note the day before you did in my dorm room, which is unnerving. Because, someone broke into my room to give me a bear. When you asked about it, I panicked and thought, oh shit, maybe it was you. And I was afraid you were fishing for info of who you thought gave it to me. The dude that wrote the post about the bear says this was upstate New York, so it's not the same person. But he said that she gave him the plausible explanation he's been looking for 16 years. Unbelievable. The world is so weird. Hey Stripes, I made it through a list. It's a big deal for me these days. Have you seen me trying to
Seem to try to what?
I'm trying to do the daily confession podcasts.
Yeah, I was around when you said you wanted to do it daily.
A mobile game has stolen Genji's animation.
I thought this was like a highlighted show for Hanzo for a moment.
Hanzo? It's Genji's animation, you idiot.
I know that, and I thought they had a complimentary for Hanzo. He looks a little like Hanzo from the back. Far
Dude,
away.
it's getting outrageous how many people are just blatantly trying to steal things. Can't like Blizzard kick them up the ass and take all of their money?
Of course they can.
Hey, what game should we steal animations from? How about the one on the top 5 most popular games in the whole world? Surely it won't be recognized. Like, what are you doing? What are you bing bonging? Guys, I love you to death. We can't run this on long. I'll see you tonight. Take it easy. You got anything to say, Stripes?
I'm impressed how, like, on the rails you kept this, honestly.
Yeah, I'm trying to do better. Still ran on for like 2 fucking hours. Love you to death, guys. Later.
How long were you